stoked to be talking to you this week about headphones. And then this is an interesting topic because a lot of times I see podcasters and they're not wearing headphones. They might be doing a solo cast at home. Perhaps it's even an in-person interview or even a remote interview, which is the worst time to not wear headphones. But that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about why you need to wear headphones when you record a podcast. And let's just kick it off with the first reason. The first reason you need to wear headphones when you podcast is because you need to hear how you sound on the mic. You might be too far away from the mic. You might be too close to the mic. And if you don't have headphones, you can't hear those little nuances. You might need to turn up the gain. Maybe you're not loud enough. Maybe you need to turn it down. Maybe you're hearing like distortion and hiss and it sounds like it's blown out. But you don't really know because you're not wearing headphones. And so it causes a big problem, especially when you go to edit your podcast or you listen to the interview or the recording after, and you realize it doesn't sound how you wanted because you weren't constantly monitoring yourself while you recorded. Also, you need to know what the room you're in sounds like. So there could be like a low-level hum of an AC unit, or maybe the cars driving by on the street are louder than you think they are. All common things that happen when recording. And if you're on a mic and you've got your headphones in, you can actually hear a lot better the nuances of the room. So you know whether maybe you need to reschedule or to take a pause in the middle of the recording to wait for the sound to die down. A lot of times people, I know you're recording at home. Most people are recording at home. And there's gardeners outside and you think maybe it's not bleeding into the mic. You're not wearing your headphones and you can kind of hear it faintly outside the window. But then when if you were to put headphones on, you would realize, damn, that's really fucking loud. And maybe this isn't the best time to record. And so it's just about hearing yourself. And then getting to my next point, hearing your guest. So you need to know how they sound so you can kind of coach them. Hey, can you get closer to the mic? Hey, can you get further away from the mic? These are all really important things if you want your podcast to sound good. The other situation, which is the worst of all, is if you're doing a remote podcast and either you or your guest don't have headphones on, because what happens is, and I edit and mix and produce a lot of podcasts over the last 7 years. What happens is whoever's not wearing headphones, they're going to have the sound of the conversation playing back through their computer speakers. And the problem with that is if there's sound playing back from your computer speakers, your mic is going to pick that up and it's going to bleed into the conversation and it's going to cause a feedback loop or this weird echo. So just think about it. Say I'm talking to you and we're having a conversation back and forth on a podcast, on my podcast, and you're not wearing your headphones, the sound of me talking to you isn't coming into your ears, it's coming out of your computer speakers, and your microphone in the room is picking up everything in the room, so it's going to pick up that conversation, going to pick up our conversation coming through your speakers, and it's going to bleed into the mic, and it's going to sound, it's not going to sound, and it's going to sound horrible. It's going to sound, and it gets confusing because you can kind of hear this doubling effect. And when you're talking to the person that does have headphones on, they're going to hear it in their head as like your voice doubled up, echoed. It's called a feedback loop, and it does not sound good. And it'll ruin the conversation. There's not even a whole lot you can do when editing to clean that up. Next point is that headphones also give you the opportunity to play around with your voice as a host. When you have your headphones in and you're dialed in, you can hear your tonality, you can hear how you talk on the mic, you can hear your own voice. And chances are you're a little unhappy with how you sound and you want to make little improvements. So the more you wear headphones, the more you're going to get comfortable, the more you're going to be able to really hear how you sound and make adjustments, make little improvements. And over time, over doing X amount of podcasts, you're going to be happy with the little changes you made because that's going to make you a better host. Also, listening for popped P's. So please don't pop your P's. Or breathing into the mic. So the other day I was going to the store to buy a lotto ticket, and you're not gonna be able to hear that stuff if you're not wearing headphones. I tend to pop my P's, and I actually even am a loud breather. I'm a mouth breather, and so that stuff can get into the recording, but I can hear it. And so while I'm recording, I can make adjustments. Whereas if I'm not wearing headphones, who the hell knows how it sounds or how I'm breathing? So it's just great to get comfortable with them on and make those little adjustments to improve your performance, because at the end of the day, this is entertainment and it needs to sound good. So there's 3 types of headphones. You have on-ear headphones, over-ear headphones, and in-ear headphones. And I'm going to talk quickly about the difference. Then I'm going to tell you about these babies that I'm wearing that I love. On-ear headphones, that's what these are. They sit on your ears. It does create like a little bit of a enclosure on your ears, but nothing like over-ear headphones. So over-ear headphones, similar to this, but typically a little bigger and fully cover your, if you're watching, fully cover the ear. Next is the in-ear headphones, which you can think about as like earbuds that go in your ears. Now, when it comes to in-ear headphones, I'm not completely against them. I actually like my Apple in-ear headphones. It's my second favorite pair of headphones. I think they sound really good. There's mixed reviews on the internet, but to me, they have a real natural sound. But if you're going to go the in-ear route, I definitely don't want you to wear wireless headphones. Wireless headphones have come a long way, but there can be delays with Bluetooth, and a lot of people don't set them up right. I would stay away from wireless headphones. Which leads me to these. These are the Sony MDR 7506 headphones. Super common headphone in the world of production, music, podcasting. You're going to see these everywhere, all across the world. Extremely popular set of headphones, and for good reason. One is honestly comfort. And I'm going to get to this in a minute, but regardless of what kind of headphone you choose, I think comfort should be up there. Big priority for deciding which pair to buy. But these things have a response from 10 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So 10 hertz is super, super low end bass. I don't even think the human ear can hear that low, but covering the whole frequency spectrum from 10 hertz up to 20 kilohertz, from super low end to super high end. They've got a really large diaphragm, and they also fold. So they're easy to take with you on the go. They're closed ear, which means your ear is completely covered, and that does a great job at isolating outside noise and preventing people coming out of your headphones bleeding into your mic. So if you're having a conversation, if you're podcasting, your headphones are loud enough, sometimes the sound's going to leak out of the headphones and get into your microphone, and that's going to create a doubling effect in a different kind of way from what I talked about earlier. You don't want that. And these do a great job of isolating just what's coming in this capsule here. One thing I don't like about these is that the cord, if you're watching on YouTube, is like this kind of bungee curled cord. It's fucking horrible. It always gets tangled up. It's a mess. One good thing about it is that it's super long, which I love. But yeah, man, these headphones are great. They're super lightweight. They've been engineered to be like super comfortable to wear for long periods of time. You studio musicians or people like recording long podcasts, it's going to be great for that. Another cool thing is that the plug is 1/8 inch, which is a smaller plug, which is like can plug into like a laptop. Think of that small hole. That's a 1/8 inch hole that you plug into, but it comes with a 1/4 inch adapter. So for audio interfaces, other like pro audio pieces of equipment, it's going to be a 1/4 inch jack that you need to plug into. And so they give you a gold adapter for that, which is great. But yeah, love these headphones. I think they're a great choice. If you're in the market for a pair of headphones, definitely recommend the Sony MDR 7506. These will not lead you astray. And they're super fucking comfortable. I wear them for long periods of time throughout the days, and my ears don't hurt. So love these things. So some things to consider when purchasing headphones. If you're buying anything in like the $100 range, it's all going to sound really good enough for podcasting. That's why one of the biggest things for me is comfort. And I can't stress that enough. I think if you're going to be recording podcasts weekly, editing, mixing your show, a good pair of headphones is a lifesaver. And so that's why I recommend the Sony MDR 7506s. Think about how they form and they fit, if they hold, if they're easy to store or travel with because they fold up. To me, that's important. There's a lot of features on like today's headphones that have like noise cancellation and voice control and advanced sound equalization. I think you could stay away from that. I don't think you need that for podcasting. I would also avoid wireless headphones. You have to charge them. Bluetooth is great. The freedom of being, not having a cord dangling, but they're not great for podcast. They're great for listening to podcasts and being at the gym and exercising. But for actually being in the studio, I think you should get some kind of studio grade headphone. Think about all that stuff when you're planning on buying a set of headphones for your podcast. If you don't already have some, I recommend you get some ASAP, and you'll see how you improve as a host, see how overall the experience improves for you and your guest. Again, the Sony MDR 7506, excellent pair of headphones. That's it for me, guys. I want to thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the show, I would love for you to go to the website, sign up for our email list. I'm emailing you weekly episodes as well as additional emails, only 2 a week, I promise. I'm not going to spam your inbox, where I'm giving you podcasting tips, keeping up to date with the latest things happening in the industry, giving you resources for equipment, editing, mixing, really just trying to be a resource to you to help improve your podcast production, help improve your podcast growth, and get you to the point where you can monetize your podcast. So that's the podcasthaven.com. Sign up for the email list. And if you want to listen to the podcast on the website, the podcasthaven.com, and click on the little podcast icon in the top right corner. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you next week.